this is what we're building. The TuneRC F15404 Pro Toothpick Plug and Play. Oh, that's nice. Hi, McShanky. Thank you for your order. Enjoy and happy flying, Arya from TuneRC. That is really nice. Oh, and as our buddy likes to say, stickers. All right, here's the box. And then there's 3 of these bolts that you plug in or screw down. And then there's a retaining bolt that's got the thread locker plastic built into it so that it locks down on top there. They want to keep it kind of squishy. And then you screw in the top. Piece of cake. Plenty of space. So it's going to get lots of airflow. Here's my wife. Hey, babes.
Hey, Goofy Goober.
What?
I get a call from the DMV that you left your driver's license.
And you said we weren't going to do that.
Right. And I just go to the lady in the front. She's like, yeah, I got your number because of y'all are on the same thing. And that's how I got your number. So she called me. So I am literally leaving the Container Store because they close at 5. And I'm going to go get your driver's license.
Okay. Okay.
I thought you grabbed it. Obviously not.
Well, she handed me a pack of stuff, and I was like, I just figured to add everything.
Right? But I'm like, yeah, that's one thing you can't track. And of course, right? Like, our stupid brain, man. It just won't give us a break.
Yep. All right. See you in a little bit.
Bye.
Bye. Well, there. You guys got to hear what having dumb brain does to you. From being in a car wreck where you bang your head at 50 miles an hour into a steering wheel. And it messes your brain up really, really bad. Take our mind off of the idiots of the world who try to make our lives not as much fun. All right. Well, that took a while, but they're both in there now. So this has those 2 holes right there. Man, this backwards stuff is weird. Okay, so there's the 2 holes, and I put those rubber grommets in there so that they fit. There you go. You will need to set up your modes, so go to the Modes tab and push your buttons on your remote to put your arm and other things. I like to set up, this does have a larger black box than before, and so I like to set up the mode for arm to set up the black box. And so that way it just is recording every time I arm. Here's the first flight, and you'll see that there's no OSD, and the reason for that is the default setting. The default Betaflight build that's on the AIO that mine came with had no HD or digital OSD selected. Even though this is supposed to be the plug and play 04 DJI Toothpick. So I posted my issue on Joshua Bardwell's Patreon Discord. If you don't have that, you should get it. It's totally worth it. And very quickly, it's Blunty responded with just the right questions, and immediately I was able to figure it out by basically going to the app.betaflight website. Look at that jello there. This is the default tune. So I'm hoping to either get a tune from TuneRC, or I'm going to get someone that might help me with putting a tune on here to help me figure out what to do to get the right tune on this. Because I think this would just be a beautiful cinematic type drone for capturing some really pretty landscapes. In this case, I'm flying around kind of before sunset, but not quite. And so I really didn't want to be out after dark, and it's not dark enough to see the Christmas lights really great. So it's really just to make sure that everything is working enough that I can fly it, which it is. And I think next I want to put GPS on it and maybe some LEDs, some Cobb LEDs or something. So But man, this thing flies really fast because it is 3S. It is kind of chunky, which in this case helped because there was 7.5 mile an hour wind. That's pretty windy. I flew kind of far away. Coming back in the wind, so I was going with the wind that way, and coming back, it was a little bit tricky, but I think with the added weight, and then I did try to get kind of lower, just make kind of a beeline for getting back to me. By the time I got back to me, the voltage didn't sag so much because I didn't have to push so hard in the wind, and you'll see that here in a second. I really like the flight. I think this is going to be one of my favorite drones, actually, because it's so much fun to fly something that doesn't make a lot of noise in your neighborhood, that has really great video quality, which you get with the O4 Pro. It's just tiny, like it doesn't take up much space. My next big thing after I get it tuned is I want to make a 3S 18650 or 21700 pack for it and see if I can long range and see how far and for how long I can fly this, maybe even up in the mountains, because I don't think I'd want to fly it on a super windy day, but a day like this where you have 10 to 15 mile an hour winds. I mean, heck, Nick Burns is always talking about 10 or 15 mile an hour winds.
Look at the size of the hole. This barely fits in there, and you have to nail that hole.
Okay, just got back from flying this little guy, not Hedwig, but this little guy right here. Hey, there we go. I have a magical hat on. Anyway, just got back from first real flight with everything working on this, with the OSD, the flight controller from TuneRC on this HD plug and play. Does not come with HD programmed in on the flight controller. Now on their page, it says that if you need to, make sure you set up HD as one of your options. It's actually digital in the drop down. And then it tells you basically how to flash it, what to set, and then gives you the serial ports to be configured for the VTX, the radio, the way they have it soldered in there. So, I mean, it's fine, but if you're really expecting it to do what they say at the top of the page, which is plug in your VTX, bind your radio, go fly, that's not gonna work. At least not for the one that I got. But it doesn't take a lot, and you really need to know how to do these things. So if you don't, just follow my little tutorial. If you know what you're doing, go for it. But I think I need to put a GNS, Global Navigation System, and a barometer so I can get altitude. Because I just want all the things on this. I love it. This, especially with the O4 Pro, really quality.